Welcome to the Relevance Report, where we explore the relevant stories that are shaping our world today. I'm John Johnson, your host this week. On today's show, we'll hear from a co-owner and a vendor at the Lunar Night Market. Then, we'll hear about Edmonton Public Library's new photographic exhibit and its partnership with the Royal Alberta Museum. And finally, we'll learn about the 2025 Filipino Fiesta. First up, we go to an event that's lighting up Edmonton after dark. The Lunar Night Market features everything from local vendors to live entertainment, all while celebrating Chinese culture. But how is this event revitalizing a less than vibrant Chinatown? Brooklyn Burns had a chance to sit down with several people taking part in the night market.
Hey Edmonton! Step into the heart of downtown and experience the unique atmosphere of Edmonton's Lunar Night Market, an intimate and vibrant space showcasing local vendors, handmade goods, and delicious food. Upon arrival, you'll walk through a short, high-ceilinged hallway, the anticipation building as the distant hum of chatter and laughter draws you in. At a small desk awaits a simple $2 admission fee that goes towards revitalizing Chinatown. From there, you step into a lively, open space filled with the sights and sounds of a bustling marketplace. Crowds move between vendor booths, exploring a variety of products ranging from artisan crafts to specialty foods, all offered by talented local businesses.
So my name is Sarah Valencia.
What is inspiration for launching the Lunar Night Market?
Yeah, so my business partners and I are all generation Chinese, and we started our business last modern event venue. It's been just over a year, and it's our little baby, but we love to collaborate and connect with the community. And right now is our low season, so we thought tying in a public event with the lunar season was very fitting.
What motivated you and your co-owners to create an event that blends culture, community, and local creativity?
We ourselves, we love being creative and creating immersive event experiences. So there's so many different parts that people can support local through this event. Shopping local, the different food vendors popping up, different drinks. And so it gives people a different opportunity to support different niches or different elements that they enjoy. So you might come for the food and have dinner, but you might come to support a vendor you love and something to do on a Friday night. We hear that a lot. It's not there's a lot of vibrancy downtown, but sometimes not a lot of evening events. So this is also kind of a trial and error of what we could grow on a larger scale. And so far it's been really successful and we've had really good feedback.
So the admission fees goes towards empowering initiatives in Chinatown. Are you able to elaborate on some of the projects or goals that these funds are going to support?
So there's already existing organizations and nonprofits that are doing great work for Chinatown. So one of them is Together, an art fair. Another one is Chinatown Revita. They do monthly cleanups in Chinatown and evening events within Chinatown. There's also the Edmonton Chinese Cultural Legacy Fund. So that's through the Edmonton Community Foundation. So we're going to split up all the admissions from all 3 weeks to these 3 options.
What role do partnerships with local businesses, artists, and vendors play in the success of the market?
So I think just the collective promotional element of everyone being involved, spreading the word, telling people, I think it definitely brings the reach further. And we've also had, because of the food component, we've had local influencers and foodies talk about it or share it too.
Am I close enough?
Whether you're browsing, tasting, or simply taking in the atmosphere, the Lunar Night Market offers a dynamic shopping experience in the heart of the city. Come see what Edmonton's creative community has to offer.
The Edmonton Public Library's Then and Now photo exhibit just wrapped up at the Stanley Milner branch downtown. The library has partnered with Royal Alberta Museum. On Saturdays, a museum pop-up table is placed in the foyer, allowing the public to see the artifacts and get up close to Edmonton history. David Falk stopped by on Saturday to visit the exhibition.
Yeah? So this is what you would have taken to school about 100 or so years ago. Okay. And then when you open it, you have what's called an abacus. This would have been your calculator to do math.
It's a Saturday afternoon at the Stanley Milner Library located in downtown Edmonton. The place is bustling with library goers and families enjoying the February day. The winter sun is streaming through the large windows, and in the main foyer sits a table with museum artifacts prominently on display. A beaver pelt, old skates, and a dinosaur bone, just to name a few. You can look and touch these artifacts. All of them, in some way, are related to Edmonton's history and presented by the Royal Alberta Museum as part of a joint initiative between the museum and the Edmonton Public Library. Vicki Jameson, a learning coordinator with the RAM, says this joint initiative is a way to bring the museum and some of its artifacts beyond the museum walls and help fulfill RAM's mandate.
We are doing a pop-up museum table of different objects from our learning collection that tie into the current photo exhibit at the Stanley Milner Library downtown. RAM's mandate is to be able to get outside of its walls and interact more with the community, bring our objects and our stories to the general public in a more accessible way. So that's why this outreach opportunity is so important to us, and just building those community partnerships within the downtown core.
EPL's Then and Now photo exhibit is located just down the hallway of the Milner Library, featuring photos, some previously never seen in public, of locations from Edmonton's past, such as the Carnegie Library, the post office, the streetcar, then contrast them with photos of the location in the present day, as a means to celebrate the past and preserve the city's local history.
Really relevant with the photos in this exhibit. It can show you how much things have changed over that 100 or so year time span, and so being able to just appreciate even what we have now, because it won't always be here, right? So bringing back these objects that tie into those stories kind of give us an appreciation of the past and where we've come from.
Katie Hasenbank, who took in the photos in the RAM pop-up while visiting the library on Saturday, thinks it's a great way to access local history and that Edmonton is starting to get better at making efforts to preserve and acknowledge our past.
I think we're getting better at it. I think for a long time, Edmonton was the kind of city that was always looking towards the future. And for Edmonton at that time, I think it was demolishing the past. I think we're improving on that and we're saving more of our heritage buildings. I think it's great. I think having Edmonton's different arts areas working together make them all stronger. If you consider libraries to be a community space, which I do, that's a huge piece of engaging the public.
That sense of community and learning drives EPL's mandate for their programming and services and allows the public to access tools, ideas, and events that promote community building in Edmonton. The Then and Now exhibit is just one of many fun, free events like many going on at EPL branches across the city. As for Saturday's pop-up, Jameson thinks the public reception shows that Edmonton is interested in our history.
This is our second weekend doing this pop-up, and first weekend I think we had around 150 to 200 people stop by, so positive feedback. People are really happy that we have brought the objects to them here at the library.
EPL's Then and Now exhibit runs until February 28th. For the Relevance Report, I'm David Fall.
In a written email sent after this piece was recorded, Hugh Lowry, a community librarian with EPL and one of the curators of this program, wrote, "The Edmonton Then and Now exhibit is part of EPL's mandate to provide access to diverse learning, information, and entertainment resources in both our physical and digital spaces by partnering with organizations with similar values and connections to the community to provide visitors with high-quality experiences and access to information they may not come across otherwise." For those interested in more events happening at the Edmonton Public Library, can check their website. Edmonton's Filipino community is growing. According to the 2021 National Census, more than 77,000 Filipinos call Edmonton home. So it only makes sense that there is a festival to celebrate the community. The Edmonton Filipino Fiesta is back for 2025, but it's for more than Filipinos. I met with two of the board of directors of the Philippine Edmonton Events and Art Society who explained how they involve other communities. Ever since the 1952 Immigration Act, Filipino pioneers started arriving in Edmonton through this stream in the 1960s. The Fiesta's former head of communications and media, Jeanette Dotimas, shares how the Edmonton Filipino Fiesta started.
We just mentioned that the Fiesta started in 2016. I think one of the big reasons why there was a need for it is the population of Filipino persons in Edmonton had grown exponentially, obviously from the 1960s, but all the way to the early 2000s. And so there was sort of this almost necessity and feeling that we needed to celebrate those achievements of getting here and continuing to be a cultural force and an economic force, quite frankly, in Edmonton and surrounding areas. So it was a good time to start. There was enthusiasm. There were people that were willing to volunteer. And so it became sort of a labor of love from them.
Jeanette also shares the success of the Fiesta throughout the years and the reach of its influence on others who want to be part of the festival.
One of the ways in which we measure the festival's success year over year is honestly the way that people receive the Fiesta. So the sort of overwhelming abundance of people who respond to our calls to action, whether it's in the media or whether it's social media. The minute that information comes out and teasers come out, there's emails upon emails of people wanting to take part. You know, that's a huge thing. Yes. The media in Edmonton is always willing to participate and come down and check it out and interview people about what to expect.
The word fiesta is derived from Spain. That means festival. But to Filipinos, fiesta means more than a celebration, and they embrace the word as their own. Mila Bonco Philipzig shares the significance of this word to Filipino culture.
We insist on calling it the Edmonton Filipino Fiesta because the fiesta is very significant in the cultural life in the Philippines. Each village, each small town has a gathering or a celebration which they call the fiesta, and it's either in honor of a harvest or an achievement or usually a patron saint or the richness of something that happened in that community, right? Like the Pinagbenga in Baguio is all the flower and happened as when they were starting to revive Baguio after a big flood. So it's part of restoration. So you go to all the different places and towns in the Philippines, and then you can ask about the origins of different fiestas, and then it brings you deep into the heart of the culture of that town and that village. And that's what we want to maintain here as well. It's not just an event, it's not just a festival, but this is the Edmonton Filipino Fiesta.
Jeanette then shares what message she believes the fiesta conveys, not just to Filipino Edmontonians, but to the general Edmonton population.
For the Filipino community itself, yes, a lot of the fiesta, I think, means, like Mila said, celebration and celebrating sort of what you knew growing up. And so, you know, whatever part of the Philippines you came from and came here, you have that history of fiesta in your background. So this is a way, you know, it's expensive to get to the Philippines all the time. And so, and definitely not something that all of us can afford to do or, you know, have time to do every year. But this year, every year, I think we can provide at least a semblance of that kind of tradition in people's lives here. The second part of the question being, you know, what does the fiesta bring to other people? I think it's the fact that we're a welcoming community. You know, if you're lucky enough to know any Filipino person in your life, you know that as soon as you walk into someone's home, they're trying to feed you, they're trying to, like, you know, and then they send you home with food. So I think that the spirit of the culture in someone's Filipino, in a home of Filipino people, also gets conveyed in the fiesta.
With the city's strong community support to the Filipino Fiesta, there is also a chance that the festival will be renewed every year. I asked Mila on what people can expect this year and the future years to come.
Food, the food kiosks, food tents and food trucks with our ethnic cuisine. There's a marketplace, you know, there's the main stage where there's performances all throughout the weekend. And then there's the family and children's zone. And of course, there's the cultural and heritage hub. Ultimately, one of our goals is to be not only present in the community, but to encourage all this collaboration with each other.
If you haven't attended the festival, or it will be your first time this year, Jeanette shares on why people should visit this year and future ones.
I think one of the biggest things that I want to convey in terms of a message for people who haven't attended yet is to open up and open your mind, right? Like, yes, we live in a festival city. Yes, there's dozens of festivals every weekend during the summer. But if you haven't been to the Filipino Fiesta in particular, I would encourage people to make the time to do it, right? You're going to have your favorites, but if you haven't come there before, it's going to open your eyes. I think in this political strife climate of intolerance of different cultures right now, and it seems to be, the norm to kind of to exclude yourself from things. But I think that in the end, if you learn more and you open yourself up to something new, that's something that you're going to benefit from in the end.
The 2025 Edmonton Filipino Fiesta is excited to welcome anyone to share the rich culture, art, traditions, and humbleness of Filipinos. It is clear that the goal of this festival is to bring every community together in Edmonton. This is John Johnson. Until next time. And now, it's time for our question of the week. We ask, what's your first memory of a movie?
I think it might have been one of the Cars one. I'm not really sure though, because I don't think that was my first one. I'm thinking that's like maybe my first memory of one. Lots of memories of watching like the Minions sort of movies as well. I know one of my favorite movies was Lilo and Stitch, but I don't know if I saw it in theaters.
Cars movie actually with my parents. I think, it's the first one I remember. It was a long time ago, and I still love the movie till this day, so yeah.
Have you watched it recently?
Probably not in the last couple of years now.
Still With Me is called I was moving ahead. Occasionally I saw brief glimpses of beauty. It's like a 3-4 hour long, I think more than 5 hours long. It's super long. It's the kind of thing you have to like sit down and really watch. But it's a really long documentary style film about this guy named I think his name is Jonas McKess. It's about his life and how he moves through it and just documenting memory. It's really good, especially for someone who doesn't really take a lot of pictures and videoing. Like, it showed me the importance of documentation.
What has stuck with me for like a long time now, I think it's only been like 2 years though, was the Before trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it was so good. But it was because I think people a lot of people experience heartbreak. I think I was able to experience almost love in very different points of views and what love is, like prolonged pieces of times. I don't know, it was just beautiful. It opened me up to not just like to redefining love.
Thanks for joining us for the Relevance Report. This week's episode was produced by Brooklyn Burns, David Falk, and John Johnson. The show was edited by Brooklyn Burns. The show's supervising producer is Sheena Rossiter. Additional studio supervision by Sasha Stanovich. This episode was produced as part of the BCSC 325 Radio News and Documentaries course in the winter 2025 semester. The course is part of the Bachelor of Communication Studies program in the Department of Communication at MacEwan University. The show was edited and produced out of the MacEwan Media Production Studio. Our theme music is called Buzzing by Kaylee Lambert. Logo design for this podcast is by Sasha Stanovich. Your host for this week was me, John Johnson. This podcast was recorded on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional and ancestral territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, and Nakota Sioux. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis settlements in the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 9, 10, and 11, within the historical North Saskatchewan River Territory. Don't forget to subscribe to the Relevance Report on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And if you like what you heard, please leave us a review and rating. It really helps people find the show. Please join us again next week when we report the relevant stories that are shaping our world.